they had us the first half. I'm not going to lie.
Oh, could be Wayne.
I think I got my swagger back. Oh.
I love it, baby.
Them orange britches. Something about them orange britches.
Tennessee wins. By Tennessee, Jawan Jennings. Jennings makes the catch. Ball hit high in the air into right field. Going back is Sayre. And Tennessee can say hello, win column. A grand slam in the bottom of the ninth. You can't draw it up any better.
We just won a basketball game, and we're very happy right now. McGrath for the win. He got it. If you don't like college football and you watch this one, I'm not sure what your problem is.
Reddit did to do, and welcome into More Important Issues. It is Sunday, June 16th. It is also Father's Day. So I want to start off the episode saying Happy Father's Day to all the dads out there. I know some of our listeners are fathers. Some of our listeners have a father. So make sure you either tell them, and maybe you're both. I don't know. But Happy Father's Day to everybody out there. Dads rock. It's the summer of dads. We're going to declare it.
Okay. Yeah, Dad bod is a thing. So I haven't heard of a mom bod. No offense to mom bods. Moms are the best, but
I think there's a whole category for that, but I digress.
Okay. Yeah, it's fine.
Hope everybody's enjoyed it. I know Tony Vitello wanted to be in Omaha. I know his dad wanted to be in Omaha for Father's Day, so glad they got to do that. Hope the boys are up there having a good time, getting dialed in. Maybe not too dialed in, because that's what, I'm gonna chop that up to being too focused. They went the other direction. Those errors that occurred early in the game, they were too hyper focused. Everything's tight, tense, leads to mistakes. So I think they loosened up a little bit. Said, "Hey, we've been here before. We've done this thing before, and why not play behind 3 runs? That's more fun than playing ahead." And so just be loose today. Who cares?
Yeah, they don't tweet about you for weeks and weeks. If you just go out and beat a team by 12 runs,
It's not as much fun.
Yeah, we had to make it interesting. So,
all right. So we're gonna talk Omaha. We're gonna talk about what occurred Friday night, and I know we'll probably discuss the rest of the College World Series throughout as well. But just what a fun weekend it's been. You get 3 walk-offs. I don't know if you stayed up for the A&M Florida game. I did not. That wasn't going to happen. I also didn't think it would start at 11. So I was shocked to see when I woke up in the middle of the night that the game had ended. But I got really excited when I saw it ended 3-2. And I thought we got another walk-off for a second until I went to the box score. I was like, yes, this is what we needed.
I did the exact same thing.
But yeah, it's been a fun weekend. You can't ask for anything more in the opening round than 3 of 4 walk-off victories.
Yeah. And then the Florida State Virginia game today, that just was not. It just wasn't fun. And not because it wasn't a good baseball game. It probably was, but it just didn't end like the rest of them had. So it just wasn't fun for everybody.
And to be fair, if it was going to end in walk-off fashion, it had to be Florida State. So I guess we had that result that it worked out as.
Okay, cool. Yeah.
Yeah, just depending on how you look at it. But yeah, wild and wonderful weekend of baseball. I was in West Virginia. I don't know if that was in my mind when I said wild and wonderful, but it was. And we're gonna get into the comeback. I'm gonna say one rant real quick. It's gonna be quick about it, and then I'm done about the final call.
Okay.
First off, the angle we've all seen, it's not the angle the umpire has. The angle everybody's tweeting saying he's gone, blah, blah, blah. Not the angle the umpire saw. Just go ahead and get that out there. So you're not even looking at the same thing. It was probably 50-50. I mean, if we're just being honest, being neutral bystanders, 50-50 call. A lot of neutral people are saying that. I'll say, I'm not going to go the full Wes Rucker route and tweet about it 9 times. I thought he went initially. I don't know if he did. It was 50-50. I do, and I'm sure you're the same way, Landon. I feel for Florida State fans because before that call, all I thought was, we never get this call. This is how it goes. And so I know you're thinking that right now. We never get this call. This is how it goes. Tennessee ended up on the right side of that call. It sucks for Florida State because it was very, very close. It could have gone either way, I think.
Yeah.
Here's the deal, though. That call did not score from that point 3 more runs. Let's run through the inning real quick because it was fun. Let's run through the inning real quick. So this is kind of getting past my rant. All right. Kavaris Tears comes up. 1-2 count, hits a triple. Could have struck him out. Triple. By the way, I said, this is how it works. We're going to get within 1 and not do it. Curley comes up. 3-2, hits a sac fly. Could have struck him out, and Tears doesn't score. 3-2, Curley hits a sac fly. Cannon Peebles, you walk him. Cal Stark, pop up, foul territory, caught, out. We got 2 outs now. Christian Moore, 3-2 count, he hits a double. Moves Peebles to third, Simo's on second. Burke, 3-2, check swing. And if you ask a Florida State fan, that scored Christian Moore and Cannon Peebles. Game. Like that's tie ball game right there. But no, next pitch, foul tip. Or fouled off, not foul tip, sorry. Fouled off. Still 3-2, and he hits a single to tie the ball game. You still had chances to win this game. Then you have Amick come up. He hits a 3-1 single. Dryling, you know the rest of the story. Plenty of chances in that game. After that call to win it or to send it into extra. And you didn't do it. And it sucks. I feel you. It sucks. But that's sports. And if you go and look at the rest of the game, there's so many calls that change the nature of the game, that change the outcome. It's constantly changing based on what umpires do because they're a part of the game. They shouldn't be the whole game, but they're part of the game. It is what it is. It sucks. I feel for y'all. I don't feel for you when you cry and moan about it for hours on end on Twitter and then get mad when people tweet at you because you won't shut up.
Yeah. I mean, if the guy throws a strike right there, it's a strike regardless.
They'll say it was. And it was close. That was close too. But they also hadn't been given that one all game. So
yeah. I mean, that Tears ball could have been caught at the wall. It wasn't. Let's go back to the first run of the game where a wild pitch, it hits the guy. It's obvious. I don't know how that wasn't reviewed. I don't know why Tennessee didn't review it. And, we walked the next guy anyway, so I guess he would have scored regardless. But, I mean, that could have been a huge play in the game. It should have been a dead ball and loaded the bases. Right. But instead, they get a run out of it off of a wild pitch that obviously, I mean, I don't know how more obvious it can get that it hit the batter, but whatever.
Like I said,
there was different calls in that game that, could have went either way. And Tennessee was on the right end of one of them. And you were up 3 runs in the bottom of the 9th. Get a freaking out.
Which, again, like I said, I'm gonna end it here. Another point I wanted to make is that they say the last call is the most important. You haven't played sports. You haven't played sports if you believe that. Yes, you never want to see the quote-unquote last call be wrong. But if you think the last call is the most important, you haven't participated in sports. You have not been a part of them. You know how a call in the first inning or in the first quarter or in the first half can change. The momentum can change how the game's played, especially in baseball when so many moving parts happen based on guys on base, pitch count, so many different things. That the most important call is the next one, not the the one that ends the game. That's not how it works. Mm-hmm. I get it. I told you, I level with you. It sucks. I don't want to be in your shoes. I'm glad we weren't in your shoes. That would have been tough to leave that game on a freaking check swing call. It would have sucked. So I get it. But the game didn't end there. You had chances to end it. You didn't. Suck it up. You won today. You may get another shot at Tennessee when it's all said and done. Sack up. Get ready to play.
Yeah, I mean, Tennessee.
Which I know that the team
matters in that game. You all you had to do was get 3 outs, and you couldn't do it. So
it was fun, man. It was a fun comeback. And full disclosure, I was in meltdown mode. Full disclosure.
Yeah, that was going to be a tough one to come back from, losing that one. And obviously, Florida State bounced back today and got a win. But, we've seen Tennessee go to Omaha and lose 2 straight games. That's not fun. But, I mean, as good as like clutch as Tennessee has been in the past for that to be your first walk-off of the season is pretty crazy to me.
I think it just also shows that this team haven't been in a ton of those scenarios. Like, how many times have we gone? It seems like Tennessee lost plenty of Saturday games throughout the year, but it seems like Tennessee didn't have a chance to, which I guess you could argue in that Florida State game going into the ninth, you didn't feel like they had a chance. But it doesn't seem like they've had a ton of chances to get into walk-off scenarios. They've either been winning by a bunch or just out of reach to make it interesting. And that wouldn't have been a walk-off because a lot of their series splits were away games.
Yeah. And they're not playing as bad as Florida State wants to cry about that loss. I mean, Tennessee does not play like that.
No, that was –
I mean, that defense was horrendous.
The entire, first 3 innings from both teams was just awful baseball.
Yeah.
Florida State cleaned it up faster, but my word, it was I felt bad for everyone watching, but especially people who weren't fans of either team having to sit through that.
Well, and Tennessee walked 9 batters. Their average per game this season with that game is less than 3. So, I mean, they got Tennessee's worst spot on the mound in the field. I mean, obviously the bats were going, and that's kind of what got us to the win. But, I mean, they had plenty of opportunities to win that game. You can't cry about that one check swing when, Tennessee kind of was giving it to you on the defensive side early in that baseball game.
Yeah, no, it was an uncharacteristically bad game from Tennessee. I hope, like I said, the defense cleaned it up towards the end. I mean, Blake Burks, I don't remember what inning that was, that he made an absolutely acrobatic play at first. And you're just thinking, how do we miss some of those in the early going? Because he was the guy that made that in the later half of the game, not some of those early missed ones. And I'm not saying they're all his fault, don't get me wrong, but he's also been kind of the cleanup guy. He's been a great first baseman. He's expected to make those plays, and they weren't made early on. It's again, not just him. Kavaris Tears, was that the first inning? That weird play in the outfield where he just couldn't grab the ball.
Mm-hmm.
And just weird stuff.
Well, and luckily the guy that was running third base stayed.
That's that play.
That's unreal. At one point in the game,
well, did you see the replay of that, by the way?
I mean,
he didn't touch third. That's why he went back. He probably could have still made it. It would have been a close play.
The coach is like, "How the hell do you miss third?"
Yeah, right. Well, I mean, to be fair, it's when you're not the fastest person, even when you're pretty fast, you worry when Kavaris Tears is gonna be throwing that in.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
so
at one
you're
point,
just sweating.
That pitcher was our best player. I mean, Cal Stark is thrown out by 20 feet, and his knee, just a perfect slide that pops out.
Did Cal go on his own? Did Elander send him?
I don't know.
What happened there?
I mean, that's one thing. Like with 2 outs, and like you get a hit like that, usually you're trying to send him, but I mean, it wasn't even close.
But you knew he wasn't. You knew when he rounded the base, he wasn't going to get
there. Yeah. I don't know what that one was, but Tennessee, like the bats were going, and that kind of saved. I mean, it's Christian Moore kept you in it continuously.
Yeah.
Kept you in it.
What a night.
I mean, the hit for a cycle is crazy anyway. It's only happened 6 times in program history. It's even more crazy that the past 3 years Tennessee has had a guy hit for the cycle in the season, but this was the first one in the postseason. And just the way it happened, like it was kind of nonchalant for everybody. Like obviously they posted it like if it's a home run, it's the cycle, but like it was just triple. And there were so many hits like within the game that no one was really like keeping up with it. And then he hits that one 440 feet.
Yeah, well, his triple obviously in the first inning, and then he got to third on a double. I don't remember how. What play was that? Was that to Cal? Was that the play that Cal made at the plate?
Yep.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And so he actually got to third on that, and it got counted as a double.
Yeah.
But he ends up getting a double later in the game. That would have sucked, though, if you hit 2 triples, a single, and a homer, and you're sitting there needing a double for the cycle.
Yeah. When you just could have stayed at second.
You could have stayed at second. Yeah.
Yeah, that would have sucked. But he didn't even know. Like, he walked in there, and Inslee was like, dude, you just hit for the cycle. He's like, oh, I did. Wow.
I saw someone say something, complain about how they didn't announce it in the stadium. I was like, what are they supposed to do? And he walks up to bat, and the guy who just hit for the cycle.
Yeah, are you supposed to announce every accolade?
I was like, it's a weird thing to complain about, period. In 2024, where I got to imagine they have decent cell service in Omaha at the Charles Schwab. It's a really weird thing to complain about.
Yeah, I mean, I think we should do that for everybody. It's like, hey, this is the widest guy on the team. Yeah, put your hands together.
Also, they probably don't tell you that, but if you look up, they usually say 3 for 3, triple, double, home run. And so you should just know when he gets on first there.
Yeah.
That's the cycle.
It's
so
it's on the TV for sure. It's not in the stadium, though. They probably wouldn't have the triple, double. They would have 4 for 4, though.
Maybe not at Lindsey Nelson, but I feel like at most baseball stadiums, it'll show what they've hit.
They don't in Lindsey Nelson, though.
Yeah.
They might.
Don't quote me on that. I'm not saying, yeah, fair. They may not say it. And they may have thought he hit 2 triples. I didn't know how they were going to score that until they started giving warning of a potential cycle. And then also, dude goes to center field at Charles Schwab, which is hilarious for a lot of reasons. The main one being that he talks about his home runs not counting at Lindsey Nelson. They wouldn't go out anywhere else, blah, blah, blah. Well, he took one deep center. Hard hit.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, are we like now officially saying that Charles Schwab is small?
It's small ballpark, man. It's a softball field. It's stupid.
JV. Yeah, that's crazy. And for Tennessee, like, to kind of get here with Christian Moore, Blake Burke kind of leading the way, and then them to like have the biggest moments of the night. I mean, I guess Dylan Dreiling is up there too, but he was first team All-SEC. Well, I guess we can include him in that 3.
I'm not saying I'm a smart man. I don't know baseball. I'm actually saying I'm a dumb man. But Kavaris Tears had a hard hit ball, goes out for a home run, and then hits a triple to get the scoring going in the 9th.
He did. So, yeah. Somebody brought that up. We tweeted the Dreiling to tie it against Vanderbilt last year, and who got that started was Kavaris Tears. So
true. But I said, hey, we asked who the difference maker was going to be, and I said hot or cold. We need the hot Kavaris Tears. Pretty good start to. I hope he seems like he's streaky. He goes in waves. So I hope we're on the upslope of the wave here.
Okay,
Kavaris Tears.
Yeah, I think 17 of Tennessee's 18 hits came from the top 6 on the lineup. Like, we mentioned it last show is like if Tennessee wins the national championship, they're going to have to get some production from the bottom of that lineup. Now, Dean Curley had a big walk or a big sacrifice fly. He also had a hit in that game. But if Tennessee is going to win the national championship, they're going to have to get more production out of that DH role.
And that's, I mean, for people to come in that situation and be paid. I wanted to say that too about that entire 9th inning. I mean, that's just some pro hitting from everybody. Yeah. A lot of guys just battled in. Peebles battles for a walk. Dean Curley, guy had to pitch him, I think, 6 times in that sac fly. I mean, and then Christian Moore and Blake Burke, you know the kind of hitters they are, and their at bats were just stunning. And they end the way they end, of course. Also, you aren't guaranteed to get to Christian Moore there. How much better did you feel when you said, if you don't hit into a double play, you get to Christian Moore? Which I'd also like to note that if you can ground those guys out into a double play, you don't pitch to Christian Moore even.
Yeah, and that Evansville game, on that Saturday where you lost, getting Christian Moore up, you're like, all right, like this is like the moment that you want. You want your best hitter up at a time like this. And then when he got up to bat, you're like, all right, he ain't getting the last out. He might not end it right here, but he ain't getting the last out. And he was able to extend that and be that tying run on second base when Blake Burke.
And this is obviously some revisionist history, but looking back in the moment, the Evansville game, I felt like Christian Moore was trying to just end that game. When you're thinking, just get on base, keep the game going, give the guy behind you, it's Blake Burke, a chance to hit. Don't get out. And it felt like he was swinging to end it. Christian Moore, and then I think you see the growth and maturity of Blake Burke as a hitter. I think in years past, maybe last year, I don't remember a lot of chances that he had. Like, I don't remember watching games into his AB and stuff. It felt like this is a position where he is either going home run or he's striking out.
Mm-hmm.
And he has that professional at bat where he just hits a single and it scores 2 guys. And that's all you need to just keep the game going and give the guys behind you a chance.
Yeah. I mean, you were kind of mentioning it earlier, like all those at bats got to like 3-2 counts. They were deep in the counts. And, you know, you win a lot of games getting deep in people's bullpen. And that's kind of what happened. I mean, going into that
Tennessee
game,
some time. Yeah, they did it.
And it was, you know, you go into this game like, oh, you draw Florida State, who has probably the best arm left in the tournament. Well, 8 hits with him, Jamie Arnold. I mean, it was something that we see every weekend. Like it wasn't anything special. It wasn't Ball Skeens like we mentioned.
Yeah,
it wasn't him. And so tonight, like you kind of have a different. It's a left-handed guy who doesn't throw as hard as Jamie Arnold, but is kind of crafty a little bit. I mentioned in a tweet earlier, he throws like a 75-mile-an-hour changeup that he throws like 60% of the time. I don't know if it's 60. That's what he threw 58% of it, of his pitches was that at Elon last year when he was all conference. So,
yeah, looking at going back to Florida State, I know you kind of jumped ahead there to UNC, and we will preview them as that game's just less than an hour away. So never just starting to hit, by the way. That team too, I mean, the 9th inning is obviously very impressive, but also to play so poorly and then get to that point and then capitalize from that point makes you feel really good about the rest of the week. I do also want to mention Tony Vitello's. A lot of people thought Tony Vitello looked very, very angry at that balk call, and I'm sure he was. Since he didn't get tossed and no umpire addressed him, I think that might have been one of Tony Vitello's more calm come out of the dugout moments. He went out there to get his team fired up, but he didn't want to get tossed. I've heard Tony Vitello with some choice words to umpires. I think he kept his words under control. He just let the body language talk. I mean, the umpires didn't move. He might have just told him. He might have just told him good game or something.
Tony Vitello is so like.
He's calculated.
He's just so like animated.
Yeah.
So like even like he might not even say anything bad, but like his like energy is just giving off like, oh, he's ripping this guy a new one because
I don't think he did. I think we know Tony Vitello is going to get tossed they probably could have tossed. They could have tossed him then. I'm sure. But he made sure he didn't need to get tossed. He needed to get the boys going. That's it. Just need to get the boys going.
But you remember last year against, I think it was Clemson, when they got out of that jam and he was so fired up coming back in the dugout, you know, chest bumps, Jared Dickey. Last night kind of had that same vibe to it where they're coming in and he's like, let's effing go. Like, I mean, the man was fired up. He's like, I'm not losing for the first game again in Omaha. And so I guess he got the boys right. Whatever he said to them, he got the boys right because they were fired up. And, man, I couldn't imagine being in that stadium for that game. That must have been awesome.
Yeah, I'm sure it's an electric environment. Some of the Florida State fans look sad, which, again, go back to I feel bad for. I do. I've been there, done that. Don't want to do it again. Probably will because I'm a sports fan. It happens. Some of the crying Florida State fan just head in his lap. Love it. I think we had some tarps off in the stands. Love it. We did not have our fans didn't assault the Florida State dugout, which is nice to see. That was in the 2nd inning.
Yeah, I don't understand.
If you're in like the 8th,
so weird.
Fair, you know you're getting tossed out of that game after that. What are you doing?
Yeah, Texas A&M just whatever. Like they're like cheerleaders. Let's make that weird. They're like heckling fans. Let's make that weird. Like I just don't understand Texas A&M at all. Anything they do is just odd.
It was a very, very weird situation. I'm sure some Tennessee fan will think that was awesome and go and do something similar tonight. That's how it goes. Speaking of tonight,
I heard that they like said that they're talking about O'Sullivan killing somebody. Is that?
There's a story. I don't know how much is even close to true, or definitely I don't think any of it's true. But there's a situation with like the Bat Boy.
Oh, I do.
Gruesome, yeah. And they were talking about that apparently. So
Jesus.
Again, don't know what they were trying to do with that one. It also apparently unless there's no way they knew this. They were, if you do that at all, you're too drunk to understand what's going on. But apparently Florida missed a chance to challenge a run that would have been overturned had they challenged.
Yeah, I saw that.
Which is also crazy that no one's like, ignore these guys behind a net and fence. Focus on the game. Hey, coach, we need to challenge this.
Mm-hmm.
Also crazy.
Yeah. Hate that for them. I really do. You know, they should have been in the tournament and everything anyway. So,
well,
we do have a question in here,
start.
And it's kind of about to. Let's talk a little bit about. Let's put a bow on.
Great victory, more to win. There's
2 nights ago. Yeah, I mean, I took my tarps off twice. Blake Burke and then Dylan Dreiling.
You put it back on?
Yeah, I did. Yeah, it was. I was very sweaty, so I kind of used it as more of a towel wrapping around me.
Great uniform matchup tonight, by the way. It's a dream.
Are they going to do it?
Orange on blue. I thought that's what the official account tweeted.
Okay.
Let me see. You get to this question while I'll check this.
Yeah, so the question we had was Little Servant to the Vols says
We're wearing black.
Okay.
So dumb.
Reese Chapman DH tonight. Thoughts? I mean, I think he rode with a hot hand with Bargo. Last night didn't really work out too well. Didn't have a great night at the plate, and he struck out twice. So I don't really have a problem with it. I mean, I thought Cannon Peoples would probably be your DH after, him drawing that walk late in that game, but it seems like he's more of a pinch hitter than a starter right now, which I know there's that thing where, if Cal Stark were to get hurt, like what would you do? And I get it. So
yeah.
Which I guess he could go to catcher and they could put somebody else at DH. Is that right? Did you do that? I guess not, because he's not in the field. Yeah.
I thought DH subs were different.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. You can't do that. So yeah, that's probably the reasoning behind it then.
Which I would like to state, kind of dumb. But there's also dumb rules in every sport. A lot of dumb rules in baseball. I feel like if you're in the game, you're in the game, EA. Come on.
Yeah. I think your DH has to be the one to go get foul balls. So, like, then you can officially be like, I'm a part of this. Okay.
There you go. He's got a glove on in the dugout. Yeah. It's good enough.
Yeah.
He's got to take his glove off after every inning, like the rest of these guys.
Mm-hmm.
Just let him in.
He's got to pick up every single player. Like, if they're the last out, he has to run out and give them their glove.
You see Cannon People standing in the dugout with catcher's gear on. He's not in the game.
Yeah. But yeah, great win. I mean, one of the best wins probably in program history there. And I don't know if that has really anything to do with Florida State, but the moment, the performance from Christian Moore and, obviously just Tennessee's quest to win a national championship, that was a huge moment for this program. And Dylan Dreiling, good God. I mean, that dude is made of ice. He does not – I mean, your boy definitely striking out on 3 pitches in that moment. They don't even have to be anywhere remotely close to the zone. I'm swinging.
Yeah. Terrifying moment for most people. Not Dylan Dreiling.
I mean, when he got up, you're like, oh, yeah, he loves it.
I think I find it hilarious they even ran back to the ball. You didn't have to get it.
I mean, he had 3 hits already to that. like in the game, like up to that point, I would almost you just walk him. I guess you don't want to put a runner on third, but also it's
Yeah,
two
because
out.
it would suck to walk in the winning run.
Oh yeah, that
would
would be awesome.
That would be brutal.
Yeah, then you could never say anything about the check swing though, because you literally walked in the winning run.
They would go back though, and they would break down every ball and striking that in.
They'd be like, "Well, the bases wouldn't be loaded."
Yeah, I mean,
also there was
it
a
would be
lot. There was
disaster.
some AJ Causey. There was some balls that should have been strikes.
The whole game, man.
If the TV, like if it could,
who's up after drawing? Is it not Kavaris Tears?
No, it's Inslee, and then
Inslee. That's right. I'm definitely not walking him there.
Yeah, you probably don't. But Inslee just had 1 point or one hit up to that point, so I don't know. I don't know if I would put Dylan Dreiling. It's 2 outs, so like you got to find a way to get an out. But
yeah, I don't think I'd walk
moment
with a man on first and second. I don't think I'll walk anybody in Tennessee's top 6 there.
Yeah, you're probably not walking to get to somebody else because
if there's a guy on first or just a guy on first or just a guy on second, my mind probably changes. Mm-hmm. In fact, I probably walk a guy if there's just a guy on second, so I can have a force play everywhere. But
yeah, because I mean, you don't even want to walk to like really get to Cal Start because I mean he leads probably the nation in getting hit by a pitch, and
yeah,
I mean, there's a good chance that you're going to hit him with a pitch.
Yeah, good point. Let's keep looking at anything else. Kind of like, I mean, UNC. I know you talked about their pitching staff. They've got a good lineup too. They play a little bit differently than Tennessee though. They did win on a walk-off.
Yeah, it's a lot more low scoring. They do like hit it well. I know Vance Honeycutt is
a really good prospect. Walk.
Yeah, but I was thinking he's good. And he's going to be a first-round draft pick. I don't think he's not as good as a hitter as Cam Smith and James Tibbs or no better than those guys from Florida State. And, you know, they each had just 1 hit. And his average is only like 307, so it's not like he's just all-world like a Dylan Cruz. Now, he might be in the bottom of the 9th where you're like, I'd probably get to somebody else because he does have that kind of knack about him too, like Dylan Dreiling. He kind of lives for those moments, and I think they've hit like 3 walk-offs in the postseason already. So it's been a kind of unreal experience for North Carolina to even be here. And so now you get a team, and they're going to throw Chase. I think Sprague is how you say it. Really good pitcher, fills up the zone. He's only walked like 16 batters all year, so throws a lot of strikes. I think he's pitched in like 74 innings so far this season, 64 strikeouts. Throws a fastball well, but, you know, I mentioned earlier, really wants to throw that changeup, and it is slow. But, you know, if you're going base, I don't know what his numbers are this year on like percentage of what he throws, but he did throw that changeup like 58% of the time. So once slow the game down, throw that slow changeup and then work that fastball in it. You know, if you're able to throw that changeup more effectively, then that fastball looks a lot faster coming in than it really is. So left-handed pitcher, you know, I wouldn't call it junk. He's more of a contact pitcher. Keeps it low in the zone, doesn't give up a lot of home runs, and has just kind of grinded out some wins for him. He is hittable. It's not like he's unhittable. But I would think of him more of like a Drew Beam, where it's more contact. Drew Beam probably, you know, his velo is probably a little bit better than this kid, but has that changeup working for him, and he wants to kind of use that to work everything else in. So, yeah, I think if you have a pitcher that's throwing a lot of strikes, I think Tennessee when they see a ball in the zone, that they tend to make people pay for getting too much of the plate. So I kind of like our matchup in that regard.
Yeah, I mean, I saw you tweet about it a little bit today, and you said he throws a lot of strikes, and I think that bodes well for Tennessee. It's the guys that are throwing stuff, especially it seems like low and away that Tennessee struggles with. You throw it in the zone, and Tennessee's able to put a bat on ball. Like, I like that.
Yeah, for sure.
Reese Chapman is the DH, by the way.
Yeah, and I like that. I
hadn't seen that yet. I've been
it's
driving most of the day.
Cool. I mean, just somebody give us something out of that DH role. I think it's just you're not really at this point. You're not really expecting anything, but when you do get something, it is a huge bonus for this team. So we'll see what you get from Reese there. I mean, no one hits a rocket more foul than Reese Chapman. So
I kind of wonder if we're going to see if we're going to see a few guys there tonight. If it's get it done, if you can't, next guy up.
You could, and I'm kind of all for, like, I understand they're not your big time like portal additions, but Colby Backus is batting like 400 when he gets an opportunity. So I know
let him swing a bat.
He got a little opportunity there and didn't really make the most of it. But at this point, I don't know if anybody's really made the most of their opportunities either. So I don't know why we don't give him another shot there. Again, moment probably has something to do with that. But, I mean, if we're just going to keep switching them out, I think he would be another one I'd throw in there to switch out.
Right. Who knows? We'll see. We'll see what happens tonight. Good news is, as important as that DH spot is, I think there's so many good hitters on this team that it's not crucial.
Mm-hmm. And they bat 304 on the season. I think Tennessee's batting 312 on the year. So, again, probably similar. I mean, Tennessee's the way they're hitting home runs, definitely a lot better lineup. But, average wise, this North Carolina team can swing it. Casey Cook at the top of the lineup's really good. Well, I mentioned Vance Honeycutt. They got 3 guys batting over 330. I think 6 guys all around batting over 3. So similar to Tennessee in that too.
Yeah.
Let's just go win, man. I mean, you got that first one. You got over that hump.
Well, that's the hardest one, baby.
Yeah, it is.
The win today is I don't know how to say this right, because if you don't win yesterday or Friday, this win's not as it's not, you can't be in this position. This win is the big one. Because then that team has to beat you twice.
Yeah. I mean, Tennessee's 4 wins away from a national championship. 4 wins. Be 3 after tonight.
Also, you hit 2 home runs in the first game. That home run record's kind of coming into play here, Landon.
Is it 11? We at 177?
I thought we were 176 now, but it could be 177.
Okay, so 12.
I think so.
12 to tie, 13 to win. That's going to be a lot. But hey,
but
if there's one team to do it, it's Tennessee.
But if you don't hit any in that game, you're going. It's out of reach. The fact that you hit 2, it's in reach.
Yeah, let's hit a couple more 440 feet and see what happens.
Because you mentioned Tennessee's 4 wins away from winning it, but that doesn't count if they lose a game, drop a game somewhere, and have to play an extra. Or if they don't drop a game if they play in the final series, they have to play 3 games. Now you're talking 2 a game there. That's the record. Like I said, it put it in reach. Didn't put anything down, but nothing's written in stone yet.
Caleb, we're not losing again.
I hope you're right. I'm just saying.
We ain't losing again. That was our one opportunity. That's as bad as you could possibly play in the field, and you found a way to win. Team of destiny.
Yeah. No, there's zero doubt in my mind, actually, at this point.
I was really heartbroken. Like, I'm usually like hold on to hope, and I stay and watch the game. I don't leave until
I watch it angrily.
Yeah, but I am like, dude, I'm gonna rage tweet after this so bad.
I'd already said it was over a couple times actually. I was about to go to bed and I was like, I'll watch the rest of it. I'll be up in a minute. Then I was like, oh, we are tied all of a sudden.
Mm-hmm. My dad was watching it at a marina and he actually left.
Oh, had to finish on the phone.
Thought he was going to finish on the phone. Phone wouldn't pull it up. Not enough service, so he had to keep up with it on his just on his phone.
Oh, he didn't pull up.
He couldn't
WNML.
He couldn't watch it. No,
but he couldn't pull up radio.
I guess he could have. I don't know if he did that or not. He did not get to physically watch the game though.
Baseball, I don't like a lot on radio. I mean, I'll listen to football and basketball games when I'm driving. Baseball on radio is fine usually. It's usually it's a good listen.
Mm-hmm.
Also, I'm sorry if I'm looking down a lot. Rory and Bryson are tied going into Rory's playing the 18th hole right now. Bryson's playing the 17th.
I saw an all-time tweet today.
We're getting a Monday round, baby. I think they changed the rules of the U.S. Open. It used to be another 18, but I think that's different.
Mm. Well, I saw an all-time tweet. It was, I guess, Rory's tracker, and it was like, what does Rory have to shoot to win today? And somebody said DeChambeau.
That'd be oh, this sucks. 2-hole aggregate playoff. Ah, that stinks. Imagine getting a full 18 from those two guys on Monday. That'd be so electric. There's something that, hey, I'm kind of rooting for free golf at this point.
Riding around in the carts.
Free golf, baby. Come on. All right. Anything else for UNC? I know we're kind of getting close to getting close to game time.
Let's get out of here. We're gonna go watch it at EHAW. If y'all want to join us, we'll be there in about 30 minutes.
Are we done? We finishing up?
I'm gonna do. I got a
most important.
Most important. Yeah.
Okay.
I'm gonna see if I can read this correctly. D3 baseball champ. Let's see. Misericordi, something, I don't know. Whatever.
Sure. Yeah, that sounds right.
They won the D3 championship. Congrats. But they were hit by pitches 147 times in 55 games this year.
Holy crap.
I think somebody needs somebody needs to I mean that has to be the most Happy Gilmore team ever. Also, how close are they to the plate?
Oh, Roy just missed a par putt on 17. A very short. Oh, not like this. Not like this, Rory.
How close was
it? It lipped out. It was a bad putt. It lipped out. Oh, he missed it low. It didn't lip out. It looked like it did. Huh?
Was that the?
No, he just lost the tie on 17. Just lost the tie. He's going to drop back to -5. Oh, Rory. What a disaster. Yeah, that's a lot of hit by pitches though.
It's crazy.
Oh, that was 18. Oh, that was on 18. I thought he was on 18, but they showed a graphic that made it look like 16 or 17. Oh no.
Are you got a most important?
I failed on Rory right there. He lost the U.S. Open. He just lost the U.S. Open on like a 3-footer. First most important. Hate to do this, but it was a pretty sick image. Kentucky's Nick Lopez with the blue stash and the aviators. I mean, that's good stuff. You don't see many baseball players rocking aviators. So that was a great look.
Is it going to be Tennessee, Kentucky in the national championship?
That'd be hilarious. It would not be good for my blood pressure, but it'd be hilarious.
Yeah.
Bryson is off in the crap on 18. So we'll see what happens here. My next one is Francisco Molinari. He hit a hole-in-one to make the cut, and that's just every golfer's dream. You stand on a tee box of a par 3 and you think, if I hit a hole-in-one here, or fairway of a par 4, and if I set myself up for birdie here, I shoot a 79, or I break 80 for the first, or break 90 for the first time, and it never happens. But happened for Francisco Molinari. Hole-in-one. Can't get better than that.
Love that.
Fails.
Fails. I got this one guy. I don't know if it was real, but Wes Rucker, tweeted he happy, wishing he was with his wife and kids. for Father's Day, and somebody said, "So sorry for your loss, R.I.P." And it was.
At this point, I feel bad for Wes. At this point, I feel bad for him.
Oh my gosh. I mean, if you like just look at the tweet and don't know who Wes is, it kind of looks like
it does look like he's lost his family.
Yeah,
it does, and that's why the tweet's funny. But the fact that he's getting that on I mean, it is a Father's Day post about himself, I guess. But yeah, I feel bad for him. Hey man, those beat writers are on the ground right now.
They are.
It's tough. My first fail is I can't remember. I think it was USA Today posted an article on Saturday morning that Florida State had won. There are a few articles that got posted. I hope that means they got printed in newspapers. I pray that would be awesome. If it is, I want that newspaper. My second one, and this is the most important of the fails here. Did you see that bull at a rodeo getting loose? That was all over Twitter this week.
No, I don't think so.
This bull, I mean, insane. He runs over to a fence, hurdles it like it's nothing, which makes me wonder, are those fences tall enough if they can hurdle them that easy? Dude, it is wreaking havoc on this rodeo. And it runs up to this one group, I guess it was just two ladies, and absolutely tosses this one lady, but they don't ever move while the bull runs up to them. They just stand still, which is baffling to me. Do they think this bull is a costumed person? Because if it's a bull,
during bear attacks, right?
Yeah, if that's dinosaurs, you don't move. You don't make a sound. This bull is running just rampage, and they just watch it unfold. So baffling to me. But then I also wonder, Landon, at a rodeo, I'm gonna guess like there's a cache of weapons there, right? Like a lot of people there are carrying.
Mm-hmm.
No one had the thought to just shoot this bull that is murdering people in cold blood.
Oh, there's tons of guns there.
You would think, right? I mean, I thought this was standard protocol. Harambe, who's minding his own business, is in his own fence. He gets murdered, but this bull can go wherever he wants, untouched. Just make it make sense, man. Make it make sense. Bryson's in the bunker on 17 now, or on 18 now. So,
all right, we'll see.
We'll see.
Really quick, most important. Going back to Christian Moore. So his exit velo for his hits were insane. The triple was 110 off the bat. The double was his first double was 115. The home run was 117, and then his second double of the day was 108.
So there were a couple exit velos, even for Florida State, like that didn't get out, which is, it's just your trajectory. Then at that point, I feel like we're giving the park too much credit.
Yeah, just not enough altitude.
Right. Well, I mean, because Christian Moore's is only one that would have been a home run at any other park is his home run.
Yeah.
The others don't have the trajectory to get out. But
right.
Yeah, he's hitting the ball hard.
Yeah.
He's hitting the ball hard. All right. Let's go do this. Let's go beat UNC.
Go Vols. Kiss your bats like Tony V. We're bringing the boat in, and we out.